Wednesday Morning Transformation, and I'm very excited to share with you today the power of gratitude in your life. Now, we all know this. This is a spiritual principle. You guys know this. We're a spirit on a human journey, and every day is another step to become conscious of our divinity. How cool is that? And thank you for joining, because, you know, I get so many testimonials and people saying that they're following this and how much has helped their lives. So I'm truly gracious for everyone that is coming along with me on this journey. So gratitude is really our natural state as a spiritual being. That is who we are. And it's defined as a state of thankfulness. And you know what's fascinating is traditional psychology has only been using gratitude since about the year 2000. All these years, decades, the whole profession has been focused on distress. But we already know we get what we focus on, so we focus on a problem, we try and work this thing out, but what happens? Have you ever talked to anyone that's been a psychologist or been under counseling for years and they still have a problem? Yes, maybe they've made progress, but that's years of counseling. Why? Because we all know you get what you focus on. So now, do you know, traditional psychology is even using gratitude to move people through problems. Why? Because in human behavior, pain ignites change. What it does is it causes initial action. It causes you to initiate motion. Pleasure makes it permanent. So gratitude gives us a spiritual perspective. It gives us a spiritual mindset. So we all know it's a spiritual principle. So check this out. We're going to go through the science of gratitude. So there's a guy, Robert Emmons. He's a professor of psychology at UC Davis. He's considered the world leading expert on the science of gratitude. So check this out. Here's what he says. Basically, he says when you're gracious, you affirm that there's good things in your life. So if you get what you focus on and pleasure makes change permanent, gratitude helps us to see good things in people and good things in the world. Now, hey, we know there's inhumane things in the world, right? There's the worst of evil and there's the most bliss and joy of divinity all at the same time. But when we focus on that, we create good things in our life. The second thing, he says, is gratitude connects you, keeps you connected with a source that we know is bigger than we are. And what's that mean? That means we get connected to God, and we know with gratitude that God is blessing us. So when we're blessed, then we can be a blessing. Gratitude helps you stay in the state of being blessed. How cool is that? That sounds like a much better way to go through life, don't you think? And so he said gratitude, those are two foundations. See all this gratitude, we're getting flies around us. Gratitude does four major things in your life. Number one, it keeps you focused on the present. Remember, we went through and healed presence. That's being in now. So what's that do? We already know that our mind adapts to things that are consistent in our life. So when we have something that's really cool, we appreciate it. What's that mean? It has high value. How many times we bought a car and then you're like all excited about your car, and every time you get in it, you smell the new leather and you do all that stuff, and then after 3 months it's like, man, I got these energy. I don't even think about getting in that car anymore. Yeah, it might be cool every now and then, but when you don't have continual appreciation, then the value depreciates. So things that we once appreciated, had high value and gratitude for, over time we begin to take for granted. How many times, have you been in a relationship? You're madly in love, everything's great, all these seeming imperfections that, you may see and you overlook them. Well, here's a problem, but I love you so much, I overlook it. And then pretty soon, after a while, that's all you can focus on, right? Things that you overlooked because you were so gracious now is a major problem. That's all I can focus on. So what it does, gratitude and appreciation keeps things that you value in your life from depreciating. How cool is that? The second thing is it removes toxic emotions. What about envy, resentment, depression? We already know depression is what you're focused on. You focus on a problem, you won't get rid of it, you have anxiety about the future, you keep bringing it in, and then you're totally depressed now. Well, when you have great appreciation, then gratitude helps you see things from a different perspective. It helps you get into a spiritual mindset, which is what? That's really who we are. We're in the state of goodness and love. Our natural state is thankfulness and appreciation. What's number 3? It helps reduce stress. Now, why is that? because it helps you see things from a divine consciousness. That means you're not stuck in the pain, because gratitude is the bridge from pain into love. It's from fear into love. It's from pain into joy, right? It gives you a whole new perspective. So just as a personal example, I remember when my son was a teenager, he's now 24 and on his own, but when he was a teenager, he went through a little mindset shift. Hormones started kicking in, and there was some challenges. It was more like he was trying to find his independence, but hey, you know what? I'm the rock. These are the rules. Here's what you got to do. So we were going through these challenges. Man, I started getting burning. My son was getting an ulcer. And I'm like, that's not good. And I have a core value where if I have a problem in my life that's breaking my body down, okay, something's changing, and it's changing right now. So I thought, you know what? I'm changing my perspective. Had a little chat with him, set the rules. Here's the boundaries, the lines in the sand. You cross over, there's consequences. You're in here. I just tell him, hey, stay in these lines. You have everything you want. Outside these lines, you have nothing you want. It's real simple. Let's keep it easy. It's black or white. In the lines, man, we have a great time. Out of the lines, it's not so much fun. Right? I can be the dad that's the spiritually evolved sage, or I can be the wrestler. You don't want to run into the wrestler. I don't care about your pain when Dad the wrestler comes out. So it became very objective. I changed my perspective. Man, within a few days, no more burning pain. How cool is that? My girlfriend Alyssa went through a family crisis about a month ago. Her mom actually had a heart attack, obviously very sudden. She's okay, went through it like a champ. But I noticed Alyssa wasn't sleeping at night. She was stressing, well, what about this? And what if my mom has another one? And what about this? So what was she doing? Bringing potential problems from the future that didn't even happen yet into our present. How many times do we get stressed about something that might happen in the future, and we bring it into our present, and we actually break our body down? So I had a little chat with her, helped her see from a different perspective, help her realize that hasn't even happened. You're actually creating all this problem and stress in your present. Well, she changed her perspective, and within 3 days the burning pain went away. How many times do we have physical ailments? Is our energy levels depleting because we're stressed about something that we really can be gracious about? Instead, she saw as a perspective that could help her mom live a different lifestyle, which that's exactly what's happening. It was more, I was telling you, it's more like a wake-up call. She was never meant to die, right? Her life on this earth isn't over. Her life as your mother isn't over. It was merely a wake-up call to make a transition. So what else does it do? Hey, I lost my notes. What's that fourth one again? Oh yeah, check this out. This is really cool. Because gratitude helps you to improve and realize your self-worth. Gratitude actually improves self-esteem. Why? Because it keeps you in a spiritual consciousness, gets you above your conditions, and then you realize self-improvement is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? But what is it? It means when you're always trying to improve yourself, what's that mean? What do you focus on? That I have problems, that I'm not perfect, you may think you're a child of God, but you think, well, I have all these problems, so I'm doing all this stuff to improve myself. See, what we're going through, this isn't self-improvement. This is reminding you, bringing back to your mind that you are a child of God, you're perfect the way you are, and it's more about releasing the stuff that isn't true. It's releasing the illusion. It's not trying to become someone better. See, the self-improvement industry is all about becoming. It's not becoming. You already are. It's about releasing what isn't true and developing a new belief system. And that's why gratitude is the bridge from our humanity into our divinity, from problems into purpose, from pain into joy, from fear into love, from I have problems into I'm a perfect child of God. How cool is that? So it helps us release the story of our past. Right? There's one persistent fly. I have to admire that persistence can definitely get your attention. So what it does is gratitude helps us get rid of the story of our past and create a new story in our present. Now, I want to share with you a story of what prompted this theme for today. On Mondays, we're down at the beach. A group from the gym runs these stairs, 110 stairs, man, 12 reps. So, it's over 1,000 steps, 1,200, 1,300 steps. And there was a girl that ran from the gym that ran with this yesterday that we haven't seen her in a few weeks. But she was in the Vegas shooting at Mandalay Bay. And she came back and told the story of how nobody knew what was going on. All of a sudden, all these people are laying on the ground. All of a sudden, bullets are whizzing by her face. She hears the bullets whizzing past her ear. She sees a girl right in front of her get shot in the chest as she's gasping for air and choking on her blood, watching her die. She's running through the crowd frantically in fear of her life, jumping over people. She doesn't know if they're laying on the ground or if they've been shot. She's so close to the bullets. When the bullets hit something and the bullet explodes, she has metal pieces in her chest and her arm. She comes back from all that, obviously can't function, doesn't go to work, doesn't go to the gym, stops her life, lays on the couch for a week crying, finally goes to counseling, and guess what tool the counselor gave her? Gratitude. And so now she's finding the gift. So when she was able to get off the couch and get back to work, gratitude is what pulled her out. Now what did she do? What's the benefit? She realized she had toxic relationships. So she eliminated the relationships that weren't serving her and now is honoring the relationships that are serving her. Now she looks at every moment with more peace and joy. So the most tragic, the most pain, the most suffering gave her a new perspective to live in the moment. Isn't that fascinating? With that story yesterday is what prompted me to do a little bit of homework and bring this message to you today. So Neil Donald Walsh has a quote, Conversations with God. He says, when gratitude replaces judgment, peace spreads throughout your body. Wow, doesn't that sound awesome? Gentleness embraces your soul. That's who we are. Wisdom fills your mind. And then I add, that's the place where miracles happen. So let's be gracious. Let's create miracles. Peace, joy, and gratitude to you all. Thank you. See you next week.